chapter 1.
Sawufunda incwadi yeGenesis chapter number 1 verse number 26.
We are reading from the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 26.
Isihloko sendawo sithi siqalo.
The title says the beginning.
Verse 26. Wathi uThixo masenze umuntu ngokomfanekiso wethu ngokufana nathi.
Verse 26. And then God said, let us make man according to our own image, according to our likeness.
Sizawufumana nje ngokufutshane. I have only 5 minutes, then I'm off of your face.
I've got only 5 minutes. Ndizawuthetha nje imizuzu emihlanu and then ndiyeke.
Le ncwadi yeGenesis incwadi yokuqala kaMoses.
The book of Genesis is the book of Moses, the first book of Moses.
Kulapho zenziwa zonke izinto nguThixo.
It's where everything was created by God.
uThixo wadala izulu wadala umhlaba.
God created the air, the heaven and the earth.
Wadala ulwandle wadala zonke izinto.
He created the sea and everything.
AkuThixo egqibile ukudala zonke izinto.
When God finished to create everything,
Wathi kulungile.
He said it is good.
Wathi masenze umuntu ngokufana nam.
And then He said, let us create a man according to our own image.
Ndisafumana esisimemo.
As I received this invitation,
Ndathi kuThixo ndilele Thixo ndithini kwaba bantu.
as I was sleeping, I asked God, what must I tell your people?
Namhlanje uthi uThixo masenze umuntu ngokufana nam.
Today God is saying, let us make man according to our own image.
Ndizothi namhlanje senziwe nguThixo safana kunye naye.
Today I'm saying we have been created by God and we are like God.
And umuntu unexabiso kuThixo.
And a man has a great value to God.
Athi uDavide xa ethetha uyintoni lo muntu lento umnonelelayo.
When David speaks, he says, what is a man that you are so mindful of?
Uthi umsilalise kancinane apha ebuthixweni.
Because we've made him a little lower than God.
Ndizothi kumuntu wonke khona apha ngaphakathi.
I've come here to say to everybody here inside,
Umuntu ongumama umuntu ongutata.
to a man, to a woman,
Lento ingumuntu inexabiso kuThixo.
a human being has a great value to God.
Umuntu unexabiso kuThixo.
A human being has a value to God.
Awukwazi umjonga nje umuntu njengento engento.
You can't look at a human being just like an ordinary thing, just like an object.
Umuntu unexabiso kuThixo.
Human being has a great value to God.
Athi uThixo xa ethetha.
When God speaks,
I have only 2 minutes. Ndihlale phansi.
ndinemizuzu emibini nje ukuze ndihlale phansi.
Ndifuna uthetha ngomntu.
I want to speak about a human being.
Umuntu ufika kumlwelwe eBethesda.
A man comes to an invalid man in Bethesda.
Xa efika uThixo kulo mntu,
When God come to this man,
uthi uyafuna ukuphila.
Jesus asked, do you want to be healed?
Athi lo mntu kuThixo andinamntu thatha amanzi agqothwagqothwa andiphose echibini.
This man replies to Jesus, say, I don't have anyone to take me when the pool has been stirred so that he can take me and put in.
Before iqala iprogram sizogqobhagqobha ichibi apha ezwelihle.
Before the program starts, we have come here to stir the pool in Zwelihle.
Ngoba xa ungenamntu useless noba uzazi isiphelo sakho, you don't know your destination.
Because we don't have somebody to help you. You are useless. You are just a useless being. Because even when the water is stirred, the pool is stirred, there's nobody to help you.
Apha kule ndawo sonke singabalwelwe.
All of us here, we are invalid.
But ubulwelwe bethu abufani.
But our invalidness is not the same, it's different.
Omnye umlwelwe uzibone bhetele komnye umlwelwe.
An invalid man sees himself or herself better
Now
than
yes,
the other one.
siyafika echibini. Ungubani?
Then Jesus says, who are you? We are all in the same pool. Who are you?
Uthi lo mntu andinamntu thatha amanzi agqothwagqothwa namhlanje apha ezwelise ndizozisa umntu onguYesu.
This man said, there is no one to take me in when the water is stirred. But today I've come to stir the water in Zwelihle so that we can be helped.
Ndifuna ukhangela umuntu umfundisi nihlale phansi.
I'm looking for a human being. I'm looking for a man or a woman so that I may sit down.
Ukhona umuntu namhlanje
There's someone here today.
onguyesu
That is Jesus Christ.
xa sizohlala phansi
When you are about to sit
xa
down.
ifika egatari yesu
When Jesus entered
ufika kukho
Gadara,
umntu egatari
you find a man in Gadara.
uthi ungubani igama lakho
The man, the Bible tells us,
uthi lo mntu singumkhosi ngokuba sibaninzi
this man replied and said, we are legion because we are many.
xa ungenamntu unguyesu
When you don't have the man Jesus,
awuzazi igama lakho
you don't know your name or who
uthi
you are.
singumkhosi ngokuba sibaninzi
This man said, we are legion because we are many.
waqala wafika umntu onguyesu.
And Jesus Christ
His
came.
name is Jesus,
His name is Jesus,
the man from Nazareth.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Sizotsho sothi ukhona umntu.
We've come to say there's a man,
Yesu.
Jesus Christ.
His name is Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kanku, for setting a tone under the word of God. Today, it's a big day for Hermanus. I will say Hermanus is blessed today. When I look the protocols that are before us, every day of our lives, we complain. We said we don't see the people coming on us, the people in leadership coming on us. Today, they are here. And they are not just here to be here. They are here for you. For you, in order you to be able to share what you have and you are not happy about. Thank you for that note. And now I will take this opportunity to call all the councillors that are present to come and sit forward. Councillor Simpiwe Silo must come forward. Councillor Koni Tafu must come forward. Miss Michelle Sapepa must come forward. I thank you. Hope all is well. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to give to the Councillor Sihlala, to take us forward with the program. I thank you.
Thanks the program director for affording me this opportunity to address the community and welcome our honorable guest. I would love to start by welcoming our distinguished guest, the Minister of Environment, Forest and Fisheries, Deputy Minister John Jeffrey of Justice, Deputy Minister of Police, Honorable Minister Mathale, the IPT Directorate, the Civilian Secretariat for Police, the NPA, and all senior managers. I would love to also acknowledge the presence of stakeholders who are going to add value in this program, the committee members, and everyone who is present here today to add value, to give input, to engage, to partake, and give their maximum support towards the success of our program. Thank you. Let me continue with the program. I would love to call on our next speaker to take us through in terms of purpose of the program. I would love to call on the component head for crime prevention, Major General T.N. Matonzi, to take us through in terms of, okay. You're sorry, I would love to call on the Minister Barbara Chris to take us through in terms of purpose of the event and why we're here. Minister Chris, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sihlala. Allow me to acknowledge Honourable Deputy Minister, Mr. John Jeffries, Honourable Deputy Minister, Mr. Castle Mathale, the senior management of the South African Police Services in the Western Cape Province, including Lieutenant General Patakile and Major General Matonzi, the Executive Director of IPID, Mrs. Jennifer Ntlatseng, Mr. Ntuli from the Civilian Secretariat, Mrs. Ashika Singh, who is representing the Department of Justice, prosecutors, Mr. Norche and Mr. Harold Engelbrecht, and Mrs. Nokanya Dadamasi, who is the court manager here in Hermanus. Let me also acknowledge all of our councillors present here today, community leadership, including Mr. Theo Olivier and other members of the community and leaders of non-governmental organizations, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us today. And you might ask yourself, what is a Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment doing in an Imbizo on crime and justice? And the answer to that is really very simple. Hermanus is and the Overberg region is my parliamentary constituency. And here in the Overberg region, we have been racked with the most terrible crimes relating to gender-based violence over the past year. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to stand in the memory of 4 women who have been murdered in recent times. Ms. Junita Willemse, Ms. Voiseka Bundiwani, Ms. Sanati Bala, and Ms. Sisipo Maile. Can we stand and honor their passing with a moment of silence? May their souls rest in peace. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, these 4 women have been murdered here in the Overberg community in the past year. What is common to all these murders is that these women were killed by men they knew, men they trusted, men they thought would be there to protect them. And while their murders fill us with shock and horror, what is worse is that they are not alone, and sadly, we do not think that they will be the last women to be murdered in this community. As we have visited their traumatized family members, and as we have interacted with community members and with organizations supporting victims of gender-based violence, we have come to understand that these women represent just the tip of a fearsome and ugly iceberg that lies beneath what appears to be a very picturesque community. In the course of the parliamentary work that we have done here, we have met other victims of gender-based violence. Victims who have told us that they have tried to seek protection orders without success. Victims who have told us that they have tried to report their abuse to law enforcement agencies without having the matters attended to with the necessary seriousness and without having a situation where the perpetrators are arrested or tried. We have interacted with shelters for abused women and shelters for abused children, and we have heard similar stories. Earlier last year, Deputy Minister of Justice organized for us a meeting with prosecutorial services and also with the local courts. There were a number of issues raised in that meeting, but to date we have not, despite trying on many occasions, we have not been able to secure a follow-up with clear answers on the way forward. And so, Honourable Deputy Ministers, we are very grateful to you that you have today honoured the cry of this community to hear the problems that are being experienced here and to share with us how we should deal with this scourge of gender-based violence in this community. What we know is that gender-based violence means that women and children spend their lives living in fear. We know that children who are raised in households where there is consistent gender-based violence grow up with emotional problems, and that many of those children in their own adult lives go on to become either perpetrators of violence themselves or victims. And so we know that unless this problem is dealt with, it becomes a transgenerational problem that will affect families and their communities for years to come. We know that there are dedicated policemen and women who, in the case of Juanita Willemse, secured a conviction of the murderer. What we would like to hear today is how this dedication and attention by both the police and the prosecutorial services can be extended to all victims and all potential victims of gender-based violence. We know that these murders have resulted in instability in this community. This instability is as a result of deep-seated frustration with having seen many such crimes go unpunished over a number of years. And we know that when communities become frustrated and when they see such crimes going unpunished, they take the law into their own hands. And this is what happened here over the past 2 weeks as a result of community anger about Sisipho Maele's murder. The community took the law into their own hands. At the moment, it would appear that the home of somebody who was not, in fact, the perpetrator was burnt. And these are the kinds of things that in themselves will generate further incidents of instability and violence in the months and the years to come. So our appeal to you today, Deputy Ministers, and the esteemed leadership, provincial leadership of the South African Police Service, and also of the judiciary and the prosecutorial authorities, is that you come to these communities with answers. Answers as to how these cases should be dealt with, how they should be reported, where they should be reported, how they should be followed up, and what this community can do when they feel that important matters such as this are not receiving the appropriate attention from authorities. Women's lives matter. The lives of children matter. Each individual human life matters. We want justice for these 4 women. We want justice for other victims. We want a sense of safety and security that in future, women who need help should be able to approach the appropriate authorities and should receive that help before it is too late. We thank you once again for giving of your time, and we hope that you will be able to answer the pleas of this community. Thank you very much.
Enkosi imphathiswa ngentetho othi wayenza. Ukuzama ukushwankathela le ndithile ngumphathiswa apha. Usixelela ke ngento ezehla phezulu elihle zokuhlukunyezwa komama, zokubulawa komama. Yonke umdlobangela bebuhla phezulu elihle. So ebesithatha sibeka kwizehlo ezenzeka apha kwingingqi yethu ngokubanzi. Ekwacela kuba ngaba abaphathiswa balapha ngaphambili baka justice bamapolisa bacela babongoza ba xa bephinde bebuya apha kufuneke impendulo kwakwinto ezehla phezulu elihle zokubulawa kwabantu kungabanjwa umuntu ibengathi kakwenzeke into. So ebecela babona xa bebuya babe ne-answers ngoba into efuna ngabahlala apha zii-answers ngoba kuyabulawa umuntu kungabikho umuntu ubanjwayo. Wayibethele into bangaba into abalekile uba kusetyenziswane zii-stakeholders zonke ezilapha nabahlali ngokubanzi. Watsho ke umhlophe bangaba uyabulela uba nibe lapha ningabahlali nizomamela apha nizowuthetha kunye nabo bengabaphathiswa beseburhulumenteni. So ngoku ndizawuvula ithuba ke eloba abahlali babe nemibuzo abanqola ukuthi bayibuze, imbono bafuna uza nazo kubaphathiswa nengcebiso abanathi bona bafuna uza nazo apha kubaphathiswa balapha ngaphambili. Amacandelo akhona ke alapha o-justice, i-IPD, i-NPA, umkomishinala wephondo we-SAPS ukhona naye apha ngaphambili kuthi endicinga uba naye uzakwazi ukuthi asiphendule kwizinto ethi nasingabahlali othi sizibuze kuye. Ndizawuvulela ngelo thuba ngoku loba ningene umntahlom le abuza umbuzo aze nembono afuna uza nayo okanye afuna ingcaciso ndizavula elo thuba ngokumuntu azichaze uba ungubani kabani uba usuka kwi-sector okanye kwi-stakeholder azichaze uba usuka kwi-stakeholder uba ungumhlali aphakame azichaze abuze umbuzo acebise abonise enkosi ndivule elo thuba ngoku nibahlali ukuthi ni-engage Councillor Koni.
Oh, thank you, Councillor. I just want to add something, to add more to the Councillor. As every person has got a right to go and ask questions, we've got stands here, whereby if ever you want to give more detail about your complaint, you can go to those tables. We've got a table of IPID, we've got a table of Secretariat, we've got a table of, how many do we have? 3? And Justice. So all your complaints, you can, if you have a fear to come and speak in the front, you are welcome to go confidentially to those tables and share your information. I thank you.
Ukuphinde ndongeze kuthiwa oceba bakwazi ubuza mbuzo bona utsho usela mphathiswa ngoku bazanikeza inxaxheba ngoku kufuneka kubuza abahlali nee-stakeholders zodwa enkosi. Theron ungaza ngaphambili.
Afternoon all. Ndibulisa nakubahlali bephelele bethuni. I've got a few questions, also maybe comments in the respect of the dignitaries in front of us. My name is Theron Mkhu. I'm a community activist. I reside in Ward 6. My first question would be posed within the police station. I think that is supposed by now to be long overdue, being built or refurbished in Zwelihle. Obviously, we understand the matter that happened in 2018, where obviously the police station was damaged and being set alight. But then, still as the community, there's a problem which I think it would be the fundamental one, that we wrote as communities to the Minister, General Pegicel, asking for the police station to be rebuilt. And a number of years, still in 2020, I wrote that email, even with the Brigadier Uhilbron involved in that case, even the municipality as the people of the ground that would lease the ground to public works. But still today, we've had no answer on that matter. That is my first problem. Why has the Zwelihle police station problem or issue has not yet been addressed in Zwelihle? Because I'm thinking, if we do not have a police station in Zwelihle as the moment, nothing will happen. The crime rate will still go up. So that is my first question. Why, with the number of years now, till now, the crime stat has risen up in Zwelihle? Why has the matter of Zwelihle police station had not yet been addressed? To another matter, I would like to also understand how many policemen were dedicated for Zwelihle, since we don't have policemen that are actually now in the secure of Zwelihle police station. Because we see random policemen or police officers patrolling, but then we still do not see the number as we would expect it to be policing Zwelihle at the moment, because we don't have a police station. So the number, I would say, if it said 1 policeman, 500 people, but we don't see that in Zwelihle happening, because it seems like we don't have police officers. That is my other problem. Then my other issue, I think we must try and address this issue. It said gender-based violence. But then I'm only seeing or hearing at the moment that when we talk about gender, it's only referred to women. What about us men? We are supposed to be protecting women. But then us as men, we live in fear in the same community of Zwelihle. But then the only senseless killings that we are only hearing about is the only of the part of women. There are other women that have passed during this course. There was a lady that was shot, I think in Jikeleza Street. Still, there's no case, it's not going anywhere. We don't hear about that woman. There's been senseless killings of men within the taxi industry, dating way back. We've had no report of such. But then the killings have become a norm in Zwelihle that we as men also fear for our lives to protect the very same women that we're supposed to protect. So how can we deal with that matter if also us as men cannot deal with this situation? So it's another problem that should be revisited. The gender problem, it's not only based on women, it's also based on us as also young men that is not being addressed. So I think that matter should be addressed because it seems like we are living in a gangster's paradise in Zwelihle at the moment. We're having a mob justice that is lacking over here in Zwelihle. As soon as you talk, you should know you are going to follow. I will not be surprised the next thing that tomorrow you'll get to hear Theron is gone. Because as soon as you open up, there's a problem. It seems like you've got more information that we know. But then people here, it said that we should talk. How can we talk if you know your life is in danger? Who do you talk to? Because the very same policeman could be the one who is giving your name to the gangsters. How are we supposed to be protected? I am supposed to be protecting my neighbor. As soon as I say, my neighbor is hitting this woman, the very same policeman, my neighbor will tell me, it's you who told that I am the one who's hitting that woman. It's wrong. That is totally wrong. Hence, we as the community of Zwelihle are living in fear. We are living in cocoons. You will lock up our doors. Early days, during the day, we are locking our doors. So justice at the moment for us is not served. Justice is just a name at the moment. But then justice is not serving the community of Zwelihle because we live in fear, constant fear. Then I think that even going back, if I would take the people back, there were problems that happened even still in 2018 about IPID. There were senseless killings that people were shot with live ammunition. People lost their lives. People lost eyes. Children were killed during that massacre that happened in Zwelihle in 2018, during a 3 weeks march. But no response have we had coming back from IPID. We organized meetings for the community of Zwelihle. We stated what is the problem. But IPID, along the communication, they divided us and they thought they conquered, but they never conquered because we still have paper trails. We still have communication, who we talked to. But then those persons or those people or those officials that are supposed to be serving the community have not come back to us and told us what have happened. So it's a problem. It will be said it's a senseless, futile exercise that has been done now today. But then it's a painful cry from the community of Zwelihle that justice is not served at the moment in Zwelihle. I thank you.
Enkosi Theron nge-input yakho. Ndinikele ezinye izandla. Umuntu ofuna uba nombuzo, ofuna uba ne-comment. Tata ungeza ngaphambili tata utebhele.
Thank you very much, Prom Director. Let me first greet our Deputy Ministers present here, all the dignitaries that are here, the community leaders, and the broad members of the community. Let me first appreciate this opportunity to stand before the ministers, voicing out our frustrations with justice and the policing. Such opportunities are very rare in this community. Our last engagement with Utatundusi was in 2018 when things were rough in Zwelihle. And those engagements have beared some fruits because there's been at least stability since he was here. Even though there are these heinous crimes of senseless killings of women and children. I've got two feelings here. It's both joy and also sadness. Joy in a sense that you heeded to our call as the community, crying out loud, seeking help from you, and left all you were busy with to come and listen to us. Sadness in a sense that us as men have turned, I don't know whether to call ourselves monsters. We have just turned monsters. I don't know whether it's because of the circumstances that we live under or what turned us to be monsters. Mine is not really a question. You know, most of these crimes are done by us as men, in most cases. And I always hear from afar people talking about men's conferences. I heard Major General, when we had a briefing, talking about a men's conference that is underway in Cape Town now. I think it will be important, even here, to organize such, because it is us, men, who are a problem in this society. It is just unfortunate that most of the older people or parents are not here, because we are also contributors of ills in the society. Sometimes men tend to be monsters because of us as the parents. I thought that this meeting was very important for us all as older people to be present, because the pain is hitting us as the older people. Even though sometimes these horrendous crimes might be done by our kids, but all those affects us, and we're supposed to be in hundreds here and seek solutions to all these crimes that are happening in Zwelihle. I will concur with Uteron that this thing of the banning of a police station or the absence of a police station is affecting us. And if it is not attended to as soon as possible, things will escalate. We will not be able to protect our children and our wives because thugs are taking over. Zwelihle, thank you very much.
Enkosi Mr. Debele ngembono zakho nangegelo ethi walifaka indeed nyani ibona indaba yakho ku-police station apha iyasichana ngoba angathi umntana esuka apha esiye town e-police station adibane nengozi endleleni abulawe arojwe so nyani nayithethayo yoba kufuna i-police station is very, very important and we must indeed look at and it must be resolved immediately. Ngicela esinye ispeaker noma wethu ungaza ngaphambili sisa.
Okay. 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 Good afternoon to everyone, to the ministers and the deputy ministers. My name is Nomawetu Lamani. I'm the community activist. Another issue here in Zwelihle, it's when people go to the police station and report the case, and the case goes to the investigation officers. But you will never see the day in court, because the next day you'll hear that your case is closed without any notification. And then another thing is when you go to report your case, you'll find that like the policing, there is no good customer service when it comes to a receival, because even if you go there to certify, the ladies and gentlemen there, they are not like friendly. So when it comes to our police here in Hermanus, I think they need more schooling so that they can be customer friendly and also be able to assist those who can't even speak English. Because you'll find that they will say, no, I'm busy. Then they will send you to someone who's speaking English or Afrikaans. My other issue is we need a mobile police station to certify. Most people here are unemployed, so they can't take a taxi from here to town to certify a copy of an ID for employment. So that is another problem. Another thing is Zwelihle is becoming a crime hub, because you'll find that people can't even go to the mall peacefully because there are thugs who are sitting in the corner of Sisulu Street and Skalbrook Road and also Mbeki Street. So it's going to be a great initiative if the police can take this, what we are complaining about, and take it to hand, because we don't want whereby Zwelihle is turning into a gangster's paradise. I thank you.
Everyone, especially to the ministers that are here today, I feel so relieved that today you can actually ask the person who are there to support the survivors like us today. Yeah, there is a year, if I remember, it was 2019, when our minister, Bekicele, talked into a funeral of Uyinene Mkhwetyana in East London. If I remember exactly his words were, something must be done into the tightening of the government. So government must tough things up. That year was 2019. It happened again on Nosicelo Mtebana That year was 2020 of 21, when she was brutally murdered. Nothing was toughened up until today. I'm not here about them because they passed on, but I'm here as a survivor who escaped death. As escaping death from Atlantis to Worcester, from Worcester to Hermanus. I went to the police station when I hiked a truck there with my child and said, I don't know where I'm going, but when you cross this path, I see a police station, you can drop me there. At least I will feel a bit safer. I got to the police station, I addressed my situation. The policemen, the only thing they said, Sissy, you know what? We have a place for your child, but sorry for you. You can go back to East London. Surely you have a family there. Surely you have someone who can take care of you. Imagine my situation is escaping from death. I must go to my family. My perpetrator knows exactly my family. So now I must not include only myself to this death. I must include my family because this man is obsessed. The monster, as the monster he is obsessed. He can give up anything just to rip off my life. And I'm doing the right thing that the organizations, the policemen, the government says, speak out. So now I'm speaking out, but what about the other level? That should be done by the people that I'm speaking out my situation to. I stayed there from 1 o'clock, just when it was drizzling, showering outside. I'm outside the police station because the police say, Sissy, we can only take your child to a place of safety, but about you, Hak Freestad, you can see yourself to East London or someone we can call. We can make a call to your brother or whoever. This man, I'm telling them that this man has contacts to my family, and they know once he calls them, they will say where I am, and then I will be risking my family's lives. Okay, to make the things shorter, about 5 o'clock at the police station, sitting, people are going up and down and asking, Yo, Sissy, you must just give this man what he wants. You must satisfy him, otherwise everything will come right for you. So all those comments, the people, when they ask about me, but I'm not getting oppressed because I told myself, the God that said in Isaiah, I will never forsake you, is the God that's gonna save me today. I kept on sitting right there until 5 o'clock when I saw a white car passing by, but I didn't notice. When she came back, the woman, she parked and said, hey, something tells me that I mustn't just pass you by because it's the second time I drive this way, you are sitting there with this child. She asked my name and my background, I told her. She had a baie geskreek and said, okay, let me deal with the situation right now. And then she approached it and talked about the acts, something that I'm sorry to say I'm a daki, I verstaan al die goed van acts and stuff, but she stood up for me. As she stood up for me, she made sure, as she is a woman, that she's gonna carry me to her shoulders. I didn't know her, we never met before, but as a warrior she was. she couldn't care less because she saw a child and a woman sitting there more than 4 hours outside the police station. It could have happened anything to me, but she said that day, I'm not leaving you until justice is served for you. That is Lana O'Neill. That was the first day I met her. She's sitting there right now. She is a warrior, and I wish and I hope that because she stays here, she's gonna continue to change other women's lives, because I wasn't the first one to be helped by her, and God is gonna give her more strength because of what she did. And she's gonna do and continue to save other people. Otherwise now, only I can say thank you also to the brigadier because he provided when she talked about I must get a transport to the shelter in Heavenly Promise that is run by Mrs. O'Neill. He provided the transport and said, let the woman go to be safe. So I am so thankful to the brigadier and Mrs. O'Neill. Thank you so much.
Enkosi sisi ngegalelo lakho ne-comments zakho. Into endifuna ubethelela yoba umuntu angathetha ngesixhosa khulekileyo futhi mhlawumbi uyafuna ubuza ngaphambi ngokubona kuthethwa isixhosa kuthethwa i-English ngoku aphele abanye abantu beshiyekela. Ungathetha ngelwimi lakho ukhululeke uveze imbono zakho ubuze imibuzo. Izasisi ngaphambili.
Thank you, MC. All protocol observed. Here standing is Nombulelo Notwala. I'm a minister of the Word of God. I've been delegated by God from Eastern Cape here in Hermanus. I've been working for God undercover for the past 3 years. By undercover, I'm saying that I was scouting the land because I came here just to visit. But the journey with God started and we started talking. And then I'm new in this place because I've been coming and going out. But this year I relocated from July. So I'm now a resident of Uzwelishe. Now, what I've noticed, Hermanus, 2018, I started visiting Hermanus in 2018, where all these bad things started here, because 2015 when I visited there, it was a quiet place, nice place to be. But in 2018, everything changed. Then that's where God started to talk to me about coming here and doing his work. But I was doing it underground at that time. I want to thank Tatu Nosilela. Can I see him, please, with due respect? I don't know him. He invited me yesterday. I don't know him. I would love to see him. Thank you very much, Dada, for inviting me here. This is exactly my assignment. I've been called to do like this. I'm not called to be in the pulpit all the time, but I'm called to people, to help people in projects and adventures like this. That is my assignment and mandate. That's why I actually relocated. Not that where I come from, it's quiet and peaceful, but there is not my assignment, mine is here. Now my question, I want to know from the principals of the school, if they are here, or the teachers of the school, as well as the police, that Masilela, my first question is there a concept here in Hermanus that is called School Policing Forum? Is there something like that here in Zwelishe, at Zwelishe? Do we have such a body or such a concept that is running? The reason is these problems, if they can be addressed at a younger age to the boys and girls, how they must behave, how they must conduct themselves when they are together, how the boys should treat girls. This must start at a younger age. And also, policing forum, when I was a teacher in Alonot, that was place, it was run by our schools. The police were visible in our school, not to search the children, but to interact with the children. So the school police forum, it's a platform whereby police come and teach children about law and crimes so that they grow understanding that when you do such a crime, these are the consequences. So children grow up knowing exactly how must I conduct myself among people and in the community. So that is my question. Another question is, I heard someone talking about that there should be more people. We are expecting, even myself, I was expecting even that balcony to be full of people. But my question is, was this imbizo well communicated? Did all the platforms used to invite people? Because if all the platforms were probably used, even imbizo like this is very crucial. Even the speakers could have been used to call people to come. So that is my question. Were the right platforms, were the all platforms used for this imbizo? Thank you.
One, two. Thank you very much for the speaker. I have a request. Each and every person, after you finish, go to one of the tables because you've got complaints. Some of your complaints need to be registered so that they can have your contact details, your full information, so that if ever there must be follow-ups, so that your information they can have. So I will request each person can go one of the tables to report. And second more, the speaker just said this hall is not so full. It can be not so full. Maybe the people that are here are the right people. Maybe if ever we were having people there on top, we're not the people who was going to give what we want. From now, you are living here in this community. Everything gender-based violence is happening before your eyes and your nose. Come forward. Come forward. Don't undermine. Don't look yourself down. Save the community. Save the people. Come and share the message with us right here now. We are here for you. The minister, the deputy ministers, the generals are here today. The services are brought to the marginalized. So we must take this opportunity. I thank you.
Afternoon. All protocol observed, just for the sake of time. Let me also appreciate this opportunity to be standing here, obviously addressing everyone. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. Look, I think from my side, I would have said a lot of things, but due to the fact that, there's many speakers to speak and so forth. But I think what we are looking at, I always say when I speak I always like to engage people. I always like to pick people's minds. And, we discuss social issues and we share, within each other as youth. And, when I speak about the issue of police, it always saddens me because I always say that I was born after apartheid. I don't know what was happening during apartheid. I only read stories, I only get told stories. I can't really attest apart from what I've read and what I've been told. And from what I'm hearing, in those days, police used to be the enemies of the people, particularly black people. People used to not like police. And, with how I'm looking at things now happening in our police, with things that are happening daily in police, I think slowly but surely, if we don't get rid of the rotten potatoes within police, we are getting to a point where people are going to start hating police. We are going there. If we don't get, if the police don't protect their integrity, we're going to get to that point where, we're going to have the community standing up and dealing with crime on their own. So why I'm saying is this is because, currently most speakers spoke about the local level, the police station here and so forth. But if you look at it, you might have a case, it's not going to be attended at. You get someone who's going to be arrogant, who's going to tell you, yeah, go to ombudsman. And the fact that someone who's supposed to be scared of ombudsman easily tell you that go to ombudsman, it shows that ombudsman is not biting, they're not scared. So ombudsman surely is not doing their job. And then you go to ombudsman, or if you don't go to ombudsman, you have to escalate the case to IPID. Again, it's easy for someone to tell you, just go to IPID. And you follow all those structures until provincial commissioner or wherever you want to go, but you always don't get the results. So why I'm saying this thing is not of a small scale, it's a bigger problem, is because many people have had a lot of cases where you can say, yeah, I'm clever enough to escalate, you'll escalate until Jesus comes back. We've got a bigger issue in this country. And if we don't focus on that, we might have a big problem. So I think from my side, our communities are starting to lose trust when it comes to police. If you can go to for example, now you go to police station, you open a case, you get maybe 1 hour, 2 hours after you've left there, you get your case number. When you wake up, that case is closed. It was never investigated. Nothing has happened in that case. They don't know if you have proof or you don't have proof, but there were conclusions that you don't have proof. And these things are happening all the time. So when people open cases and those things happen, they're losing hope. When something happens to someone, they're starting to question themselves, should we go open a case? Is it not pointless? So I think we are getting to that point. You see, so I think, Minister, you spoke about an action that the community did previously because of what had occurred to Sisipo. I think for me, as much as it's an inconvenience and it's not a good thing that it occurred, but I think it shows the frustration of the community, that they don't trust the police to the point that they want to take action. It shouldn't get to that point, but it got to that point because it shows that the people are not really trusting police, But it was unfortunate that, as the minister said, it is someone who's not really the real perpetrator. But what I'm trying to prove in terms of this, slowly but surely, people are starting to lose trust on police, and we need to do something about it. I think, Minister, something needs to happen regarding that, and it starts with cases. People's cases need to be attended to, because those individuals are the ones that get into our communities and start to talk about police, that police are not useful to us. So yeah, that is all from my side. Thank you.
Ngizawucela bonke abanembuzo baza bangaphambili bonke ukonga ixesha ba-queuishe kwecala ingapha. Soqala number 1, number 2 njalo njalo.
Mandibulise program director, ndibulise uMinister Chrissy no DM Jeffries no Mohale, Police and Justice. Thank you very much. Let me first locate my input by thanking you. I think we sometimes miss this point. When you are here, we must thank you for coming out. Ndiyavumelana nabantu abaninzi abathi we don't have this opportunity most of the time. We know this is a big country, we've got 9 provinces, and you can't only be in the Western Cape all the time. But I'm happy when you are here, and I think maybe let me give Minister some part course homework. When the president comes to the Western Cape and you've got whatever presentation he's doing in the Western Cape with all the cabinet ministers, deputy ministers, that maybe that's the time you must use in coming and reaching out in such platforms. Because all the contingency is in the Western Cape, so we can just use that opportunity that we come. I think we must start to develop programs where we are saying when we've got problems, when they are here in the Western Cape, a parliament, because the parliament is still here, we must then get ministers that time to come and address some of the issues. Today, it's the justice and police. Tomorrow it might be local economic development and others. Because we must also understand that in crime, economic root cause. It can't just abantu benzindo. It might be that eklaleni akomisebenzi, abantu are desperate, abantu babhekelwandle bothatha izinto ngoba it's not because they want to do it, akomisebenzi. There's no opportunities. So we must also ask maybe the next visit minister, which you can have, also consider the issues of small business and others, so that we then have an integrated approach in how we deal with this crime and the elements of crime. I think that's just a comment I want to make at the first time. I want to echo many things here, but I want to just put a last stamp on the police station in Zwelihle. We believe that the land is available. It's there. We also have asked the Zwelihle Development Trust to give away that piece of land. It's already now vandalized. We can see abahlali bayigqibile isenta. So sithe masesisuke bayigqibe, but masesebenze olamhlaba wonke for the police station and yonke ke i-service esenziwa from the police station. So the land is there. Umasipala, if that's the case, we must just find where the blockages is so that we just resolve that issue. It can't take so long. And maybe if not even, by insurance has paid out that building at some point. If not, we must also find that out. So I think there's issues that we can look at. But for me, I'm very happy. Thank you very much, Minister and the team, for being here. For me, it's a step in the right direction. We see some of us that follow news, you're doing well in most issues, but there are those little issues that you must really look at so that really it does not become a problem. I also want the whole issue of our police, maybe at some point that there should be an issue with the law enforcement. The law enforcement, they've got a special team now that takes charge of the work of police, I see. Ingati in charge now. I think we must have some way that we are working together with our police, our law enforcement, and the neighborhood watch. I want to ask our police, please invest in the issue of neighborhood watch. Is it neighborhood watch? Because unless you invest in that one, because they are your ears and eyes in communities, but also protect them because they are community members. I think I want to concur with the protection of those people also. Because once they are out there and raise all these issues, babazi victims at the end. We know the taxi violence in our area. It has escalated at some point, but yet we are asking that a community must also be brought on board, and I think strengthen your communication. I think one of the issues that might be a missing point, no government, police and justice, is communication. We don't communicate. It seems that we don't want to communicate. We might have a scenario where cases are delayed and we are saying the justice system is not doing its work. Sometimes you believe that a case has been now postponed because there's no enough evidence. It's a problem. It's a problem. And then the last one I want to just raise, because I do not want to raise two questions, but I want to really thank you for coming out. It's really, Minister, whether you can listen to the whistleblower issue as well. We want to talk. We want to talk. I know community but I think that's the biggest problem of crime prevention, is whether we've got a nice system and we want it, if there is in other places, maybe I would want to DM and justice to also tell us how can we go about strengthening the relationship between the police and the community, and how do we protect the community from as crime bosses when we raise issues to you. And the last one, which is a key one, please, police leadership, please check whether you've got ethical police officers in your service. Ethical police officials in your service. Because we know, or people are telling us in confidence that I've raised this, but this police told me that thing is not going anywhere. It can't be that we don't trust you. We want to trust, we want to work with you, but I think just strengthen that area. That when you do your recruitment, make sure that you recruit on the basis that abantu bazawusebenza nabahlali, and not the other way around, where I raise an issue, this issue, before it even gets anywhere, people are knocking at my door and says, we are not going to stay too long here. And we now start to take a back step and we blame you as the police all the time. So for me, bahlali enye into endizayicela kuthi ke ngoku, ndiyacela ukuba sisebenzisane ukwenzela ukuba i-community yethu ibe right. But siyacela nakuni ke mapolisa nakwi-justices, don't delay cases. Sometimes we are saying cases are delayed. We know why cases sometimes are delayed, because there's not enough evidence. Because people don't come out and give you evidence. It might not necessarily be the real issue that the cases are delayed deliberately, but I think the issues of investigation must also be strengthened. So on that note, Minister, as I close, I want to thank all of you. And please bring your other colleagues, Minister who's deployed here. Please, we'll give you a number of other ministers which we want and deputies to come. Enkosi kakhulu.
Molweni, ndizabulisa kwitafile esikhokelayo, ndibulise kubahlali ngokubanzi. Ndizabulisa isikhokelo ndizawubulisa kwisikhokelo esingaphambili, ndibulise kubahlali, ndibulise kuceba wethu, ndithi enkosi, ndikothulela umnqwazi ngobuceba. 2015 apha eHermanus ndiqhekezelwe unyaka ampuru wonke endlini yam, ndizivula ikheyisi epolice station. Ipolice station iselapha elokishini. Baza amapolisa, kwathiwa kuzawubizwa abantu be-fingerprints from eCape Town, bazothatha ii-fingerprints, masingangeni singavuli. But siyenzile loo nto, zafika abanye abantu bezothatha ii-fingerprints, ikheyisi yam zange ibhekele indawo. 3 times yekheyisi ingabhekele indawo. Kwalile if maybe ngo-2018, it was 2020, endlini yam umuntu wefamily wayoshiya ipelamuni, andikho ndise-Eastern Cape. Kodwa laa mini istrato ndaphantsi ubanjela umntanam omncinci ngenxa yoba mna ndingekho ndizawufuneke ndivume ityala lepelamuni. Kodwa bathi xa bamfumana umntu oze nepelamuni endlini yam, zangabuya amapolisa azoxolisa ngendlela ayendiphethe ngayo. Ndiphindile andiboni kakuhle ke, ngo-2020 nge-22 zikaSeptemba ndafumana iscan eCapitec Bank, so deposita imali until kulo nyaka oko ndimane nditshintsha nje abecuphi abatshintsha oko, kodwa akho nto yam ibhekela phambili court, zonke ziphelela esithubeni. Kangangokuba nalena ikheyisi idrotshiwe, akho case. Kukwafana ke nale nto noba ngaba kaSisipho nakwabantu bekudala bebulawa apha eHermanus, akukho nto sivayo sithi isihlahla into yoba ngaba nanku umntu obanjiweyo. Asiyazi abantu abathathwayo uba bathathwa basiwaphi. Kugqityelwa kuthiwa nanku umntu uthathiwe, after that ukumbone kuthiwa nanku ukhululiwe, asixelelwa, asifumani report. Ndizocela kumphathi into yoba ngaba ndicela net andizamele lena ikheyisi yemali yam yescam, andixelele uba ngaba kwenzeka ntoni. Uba kudala kusithiwa abecuphi bathi balindele umantyi abanika ipermission yasezibhenki, but akho nto iqhubekayo until ngoku. Enkosi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much. Can you go to one of those tables, Sisi, for your assistance? Thank you. Thanks.
Wathinda abafazi, wathetha imbokoto, wathinda abafazi, phansi nge-gender based violence, phansi nge-gender based violence, phansi
Phansi ngohlukunyezwa abafazi phansi. Hayi igama mina nguphila yokhwe. Ndimququzeleli wolutsha phezu lihle. Lo nyaka kupheleyo. Minyaka kupheleyo apha ngale days elections. Kwabuya lumnana eMarikana ngehamile uSinathi wabulawa emva koko icase yakhe simane sisiye court siyolutsha lapha eHermanus siya ngemarch court simane sisiya akwenzeki nix kuthiwa umane avela akavela aphila ngaveli so utaka Sinathi akayazi nokaSinathi ibethwa baphi na utaka Sinathi waxelelwa uba umuntu uphumile ecourt engayanga ecourt so amapolisa lapha necourt lapha zowathatha as amapharapara because awayenzi umsebenzi wawo amapolisa lapha akawenzi umsebenzi wawo wabona ipolisa elisiye emsebenzini inxilile or ipolisa linebhabhalaza izolo epolice station ukhansila Silo ebeyokunceda umama phana for affidavit lethe la polisa lizuyenza lonto laba makwazi ubhala laba makwazi ukwenza nix lethe la polisa lizuyenza lonto so amapolisa lapha ngamapharapara and baye benxile emsebenzini so mayigathwe lona bahlali if amapolisa akasebenzi siyakwazi epolice station ngenyawo siyakwazi uvela N3 unganziki nix eHermanus so izokwenzeka lo if abaphathisi abasimamelanga izikhalo zethu namhlanje sothatha phambili enkosi Mandla.
Thank you. Sorry. Can you go to one of the tables so that you can get assistance? I thank you.
Ndibulise kuMinister, ndibulise kuDeputy Minister bakhona, ndibulise abahlali bonke. Igama lami ndingunqabekazi Langa, ndingumhlali walapha eWard 12 eZwelihle. Umbuzo wami uzoba short kakhulu. Kuye athi amapolisa xa uqhwatyiwe reporter but uzawuqhwatywa kwayi-1 uyoripota uba ukuqhwabile then lo muntu ebekuqhwabile akhutshwe kuthiwa ebeqala ukuqhwaba funeka ude uqhwatywe kangaphi ukuze amapolisa athathe i-action okanye funeka ude ufe ukuze amapolisa athathe i-action why abantu abasihlukumezayo benamalungelo ukogqitha thina abahlukunyezwa enkosi
Ndibulise abahlali nabahlali ngaphambili bonke abakhoya apha enhlanganisweni. Andizoba mde kakhulu. Ndinemibuzo nje embalwa ezuba inkokheli zethu zasekuhlaleni bezike zatsho zathi ewe singathetha namhlanje nge-gender based violence but ingxaki yalapha isuka emva ku-2018 ayiqali namhlanje kungakhange kubekho ndlela into yoba abantu mabafumane ubulungiswa esicinga into yoba bayabudiserva as abemi balapha eMzantsi Afrika. Ndinemibuzo nje embalwa kukho into ephaa entabeni ejonge apha eZwelihle ndicela ucaciselwa xa sekuphendulwa imibuzo into yokuba ngabana ingabi idibene norhulumente na if idibene norhulumente iphantsi kwe-law enforcement na ezi agencies zonke yintoni umsebenzi wayo ikhamera phaa entabeni phezulu. Okwesibini ndicinga uba sinazo ii-women action groups ezikhoya apha ekuhlaleni siye sizibone xa kubhaliswa into ezithile sinayo i-CPF endiqonda uba yeyona i-close ebantwini so ndifuna ukwazi apha emthethweni into yokuba ngabana ingaba bayayicreata na i-environment apho kulula into yokuba aba bantu eziba ingabantu abakufutshane ekuhlaleni benze umsebenzi wabo. Okwesithathu ndizawucela ukuqonda i-crime mos as utata lebekhe watsho apha ndicinga uba yintlanganisela ye-frustrations ezininzi ebantwini zininzi into ezenza abantu babe loo meko. So there's the issue unemployment as utata bekhe watsho, there's the issue ye-substance abuse, there's the issue zininzi into lapha ekuhlaleni but umama lo uzuyitolika mntu asihlahla le ndawo umama uBarbara uChris lo uthe mos umele into ye-fisheries ndiphangelele i-Abalone company mna apha eSapha xa ephinde ebuya umama ndinesicelo njengoba la ndawo ndiyiphangalelayo ilapha ekuhlaleni ndinesicelo mna sento yokuba xa ebuya aze akasincede asiphathele abantu abajongana neento zemisebenzi sikwazi ubona into yoba kule dolophu yethu sihlala kuyo kwenzeka ntoni phaa edolophini njengoba i-hospitality industry mos ipha i-rescue nayo yonke laa nto ziphaa edolophini umama aze akasincede xa ebuya zonke ezaa stakeholders zirelevant kwiinto ezidibene nemisebenzi yonke laa nto aze ancede asiphathele ngoba ininzi into ekufuneka iqondiwe apha kule zwe lihle yethu. Okokugqibela aba bantu kuthiwa ngabantu abamele ukuhlala okanye i-community activist ndinesicelo mna kurhulumente njengoba elapha kuthiwa ngunational lulapha mayenziwe nakubo i-environment uba mayibe lula uba mabasebenze because enye yezinto edileya iprogress okanye emisa into yokuba abantu mabangancedakali ekuhlaleni xa sihleli siyayitshintsha into siyibrande siyipoliticize yonke into eyenzekayo. So ndicinga uba kungalula into yokuba ngabana aba bantu bamele ukuhlala njengomqhu njengoba bekulaa ndawo makube easy for bona uba benze umsebenzi wabo because ngabona abantu bafikelekayo ebantwini more than i-politicians. So ndiyacela i-community activists if ikhona indlela or andifundanga so andiyazi ngokwasemthethweni uba kufuneka bade benze kanjani because kudala from 2018 i-community activists sikhona apha but into eyenzekayo they get terrorized umuntu angabikho. There was a case kwenye game apho iwaka lamadola laliye kwenye indlu yomnye umuntu oyi-community leader. There was no follow up ndingatsho because sasikhona sasilapha zininzi into ezenzekayo apha akho nto eyenzekayo nathi ngonjengoba sithetha apha asiyazi ngomso uba kuza kwenzeka ntoni na ngokwemeko esihleli kuyo. Ndifuna ukubuyela kulaa nto ibithelwa ngumntakamqhu into ethi kunzima ubakhusela abantu abangoomama because kuqala wena uyindoda ngo-8 uyivala ibhakla because awuyazi uba njengoba ume apha ngomso kuza kwenzeka ntoni kuwo. So sidinga into yoba kuziwe kuthi u-IPID kudala kuthethwa naye ndicinga uba ngelaa xesha wayelapha ubheke icala zathi ufuna isibhamu sakhe u-IPID kwakuthiwe makeze apha weza u-IPID ndinepicture apha abanye abantu bazawumazi uSandiso Nkomo wayedutyulwe apha ngasepostile lo mfana ezilele kwakhe ngamapolisa yayingengomapharapara la esenza le nto yayingamapolisa kungelishwa ngokuba uphangele. There was no progress up until today. Wayesenza ugrade 10 ngelo xesha uyaphangela ngokupase ugrade 12. So asiyazi ke ngokuba xa kuthiwa i-IPID kuthiwa masiye kweyiphi i-IPID because le ikhoyo kuthiwa ijonge indlela amapolisa asebenza ngayo thina torho akho ndisenzela yona. So ngelishwa lo tata akekho for uba azithethele njengoba bekuthethwa nalaa tafile ingase ubikhona indlela noba it's on a monthly basis okanye nge-2 weeks mayibe khona into eyi-mobile ezawuba lapha kuthi ekuhlaleni yakhe nayo u-IPID njengoba namapolisa kucela into yoba makubekho i-mobile police station or loo nto leyo okwethutyana u-IPID naye masingamane sifowuna ngee-airtime zethu senza yonke loo nto leyo makeze kuthi u-IPID because umonakalo ka-2018 sisalimele nanamhlanje le into yi-eda phezu kwento ibiloko ikhona futhi ayikazi uphola ngoba asikabi naxolo namapolisa ngokwehlobo awasiphatha ngalo ngelaa xesha and kuyabonakala into yoba sazasiphatha ngolaa hlobo ngoba kwenzeka izinto phambi kwawo kwenzeka izinto emini. There was an incident apha ngakojingi apho u-law enforcement walapha wayebanjwe in ransom ngabantu kwenzeka loo nto yenzekayo kophuka imoto. To my surprise mna ndihlala eMarikana the statement that was issued by umunicipality wathi bebeyoqhawula umbane eMarikana thina sababetha. That's what they are good at xa kuthiwa kweqhawula umbane eMarikana zange bayithethe into yoba ngabana bebexabana nabantu then bohlulwa ngabantu as authorities bayithatha bayisa ebahlalini abangenabathetheleli kodwa thina besibabetha beye embaneni. Enkosi.
Ndizibulisele nam igama lam ndinguSimamkele wakwaGxalaba ndihlala apha eHermanus ndiyazifikela torhwana. I think when I listen to people speaking here, the most of cry that they are coming up with, they need to be taught about how does the system of law works. Because most of the time, we don't know most of the things about law up until something affects you or happens to you. And then it's then you start to make up these follow-up. And sometimes you may feel up that you don't get the attention of which you need because of not knowing or not having known how the law works. So if the police and as you have came today, you can explain these things to us that if there is a murder, how does it work? If there is rape, how does it work? So that people can know that how does these things work? Because if you don't explain these things, you don't talk about these things, people will feel frustrated up until taking the law into their own hands because they don't know how the law works at all. And just one thing I want to say here. On Thursday, I was going to church and there were two men in front of me. I heard one of them was speaking and he said, you know, if it may happen that one day I rape someone, I cannot just do it for one time, but I can make sure that I do it continuously almost for a month, because I know that if ever I will get arrested, there are two things that are going to happen. It's either I will be released or it's either I will be jailed forever. So I cannot be jailed forever just for raping someone once. And when I looked at this person, I just figured, no, the problem is with his mind. It's not about wanting to do something, but there is something wrong in the mind. So that's why I want to agree. There was a person that came here and he talked about the men's conference, something that will happen in the community that will bring people together, something that ezakwenza on how to build the society. And also, sister, they came up with a good point of police coming to schools and also talking to children, because these are serious matters, especially at high school. Children, it's either they drop out or they fail. And once they do that, they see nothing else to do. They use drugs, they use alcohol, they become street people. And we then see them as enemies. So I think if these things can happen, kubekho these organizations, schools are being visited, and kuncedwe abantu, kuthethwe nabo, then something can better, and police also coming to the societies, explaining about the law, how does it works, then I think things can become better as time goes on. Thank you.
Greetings to the leadership that is standing here, and all protocols observed. I will speak as a resident of the Overstrand municipality. I work for the Department of Justice, but I live in this community. My name is Motibang Koloko. I was born and bred in this community. Motibang Koloko. Yes. Mine is just to add on the coordination and collaboration. I noticed something that is taking place here. You have all these stakeholders that are here, and they are all coming from national level. Maybe I will be corrected. They are all coming from national level. You don't have provincial and local level accept councillors and councillors that come from specific organizations, which is problematic. Why is this problematic? Is issues, yes, if you talk about housing, we may differ, it's something else, but issues of this nature are issues whereby they need all leaders of society to come and work together. As the leadership from all different organizations that are here, when I say organization, I mean departments, you need to come up and talk to your peers. When I say your peers, I mean your provincial guys and your local guys. It can't be that we are talking about gender-based violence. You don't have the municipality being here. When I'm talking about administrative municipality, you have law enforcement, they have a director. You have what you call this, a province, the Western Cape government. They have a safety and security department, but it's not here. So all I'm about to say is to say, please, settle your differences, and when it comes to issues of this nature, they take priority and come and work together. No matter your political affiliation, no matter what, you need to come and work together on such issues. Yes, on housing and whatnot, we may differ because we're gunning for political scores and what so not. But issues of this nature are paramount and important. You need to talk to your peers and work together. Otherwise, such things will be futile. You can't come to Overstrand municipality as national level and then have no one from the municipality's leadership side to come and endorse such an event. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
One, two. Thank you very much. I must thank you again for all your inputs, your complaints that you forwarded this afternoon. I think now that was the last round for the moment. Now I will give the opportunity to response by the panel. I will start first by Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Service, Mr. J.H. Jeffrey, who's an MP member, to come and assist to relevant issues. I thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Molweni. There were not too many issues raised for justice, but maybe just to use the opportunity, as somebody had raised, to explain some things. When a crime is committed, if somebody is beaten, it's assault. If they're beaten badly, it's assault GBH, or grievous bodily harm. It's sort of serious assault. If you try and kill someone, it's attempted murder. If you kill someone, it's murder. The police have to investigate and collect evidence. And that evidence has to be taken to court by the prosecutor from the NPA, and they have to convince the magistrate or the judge that there's enough evidence to find the person guilty. So a key thing is evidence. You can't say, no, I know that so-and-so burnt my house. I know it's that person, but you've got no evidence. So you're not going to convince a magistrate that person is guilty. Now, we've got two procedures or things that can be used, and that's the issue of protection orders. Now, you can get a protection order for domestic violence. That is when the person who you're needing protection from is living with you, they're your family, somebody in your family, or somebody who's living with you's family, or they're you've been in a relationship with them, or you used to be in a relationship with them, or there's some kind of personal link. So those are domestic violence protection orders. Then the second one is protection from harassment order, which is the same thing, but it's when you don't know the person. Well, not that you don't know the person, but there isn't that kind of relationship with the person. So it's like, just looking at people here, maybe not to point anyone, but like somebody is whenever I go out on the street, they come and shout at me and threaten me, I can get a protection from harassment order against them. Now, the way both these orders work is you go to the court, and you've got to make a statement to the clerks at the court. They will help you whether it's domestic violence or whether it's protection from harassment, so don't actually worry about those differences. But you've got to basically show that you're in danger and you need this order. And they will take it to the magistrate. You'll have to make an affidavit. And the magistrate should there and then decide whether you qualify for that order or not. And they'll give you an order. But they'll give you what's called an interim order. It's not forever, it's for a certain period. They'll give you that order before they even have heard the other side, the person you're accusing that you want protection from. The reason they do that is so that you can get a protection order quickly. Once you've got the protection order and once it's been given to the person you are looking for protection from, then if that person breaks the order, they can be arrested. They can be locked up. And they've then also committed a crime for breaking the order. But I said the order is only temporary, so it will be for a particular period, and then after that period, you must come back to court, and the person you got the order against can come to court if they want to disagree with you and persuade the magistrate that the order shouldn't be made final. If they don't come back to court, then usually, if it's only the complainant, then it will be made final. A problem we often have is that particularly women will seek a protection order, and then they'll get the interim order, but then they will want it withdrawn, or they won't want it final because people from the family of the person against whom the order is are putting pressure on them. So it is a problem that a lot of orders are withdrawn, and we'd urge people not to do that. But that's how the whole issue of protection orders work. And there is the Department of Justice table at the back where they can help you if you've got more questions on protection orders or how to get one. They're also dealing with issues which is not so much the topic here, but of maintenance, where you've got a child and the other parent is not paying for that child even though they are earning money. And the court can help you with applying for maintenance. The issue was raised earlier, I think it was by the first speaker, about, we talk about gender-based violence, but it's also men who are victims. Now the term gender-based, well, first of all, with the protection order, it's generally women looking for orders against men. But if you look at the law, it doesn't talk about men or women, it's neutral. So anyone can get it. And men sometimes do need to apply for orders, domestic violence orders against women, against their partners or their ex-partners. So it's gender neutral. The problem, though, is if you look at, the women are more than half of the population. So there's more women than there are men in the world and in South Africa. But if you look at the people who are committing the crimes, it's the majority of them are men. You go to the prisons, the correctional facilities. The men's prisons are huge. The women's prisons are small. So unfortunately, as men, we have to admit we're the ones who are causing the problems in society. And that also needs to be taken into account. But I think a lot of work needs to be done in terms of so with rape, men can get raped, they can get raped by a woman, they can get raped by another man, but it's generally women that are being raped, and they're being raped by men. So we have to sort of see that, but I think that there are programs we run, and we can look at running in some of the schools here, aiming at the boy child. We've got a specific program called Under the Tree, which focuses on the boy child and trying to teach them to be better human beings and better men. But a lot of the problem is what's happening to the child at home. Who are the men that are setting examples for that boy child? Are they seeing a man who might be their father or might be some other senior man responsible for them, who gets drunk the whole time and abuses the women in the household? Is that what they're learning about what being a man is? And what can we do as a community to stop that? So we can look at programs about that. The other thing is that the issue was raised about the problem of no commissioners of oaths in the community, and it's something that the area court manager and the court manager have said that they will look at whether they can find people in the community who can be commissioners of oaths, who you can go to get affidavits to be commissioned. The reason why we need trustworthy people, because that person is meant to get you to swear before God that what you've said is true. We don't want somebody who's going to commission an affidavit for you when they haven't even seen you. It's got to be somebody who's going to follow the rules about what is meant to be done, but that is something we will be looking at as justice for the Zwelisha community, even before you rebuild the police station. Let me leave things like that for now. Thanks.
One, two. Thank you very much. A round of applause again. Thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister, for your response. And I think everyone is clear when we talk about protection orders in domestic violence, and when we are talking about protection orders in harassment. So I think everyone is clear. No one can say tomorrow, I don't know. Those are the instruments that are used to minimize the risks between the women and the men, or between the men and the women. To move on now, I'll take this opportunity to call SAPS response. First, I will start with Mr. Nduli as a civilian secretariat to come and give us a response. Thank you very much.
Minister, Deputy Ministers present, colleagues, Mathale. Firstly, let me thank you so much for the opportunity. From the civilian secretariat side, we've listened quite carefully. There are issues that have been raised, but about the police station, for example. One of the things that I think I would ask the very community, if the minister will permit, is for the community also to reflect a bit. Why was that police station banned? Because when you ban the police station, you must understand there's a queue. There's a queue that this police are following in building police stations. Now, in the queue, if you ban yours, it doesn't automatically come a priority. It joins the queue. So I would not know how far is the queue for you to get your police station addressed. But at times it might be pointless to try and address the building of the new police station without looking at the causal effect in the first place. Why was the other one banned? Because we can build it, it will still be banned. So the community must also help this meeting to look at the reasons, bring them forth so that we also understand how the police could better prioritize that one. On that regard, from the Secretariat, we are also going to be looking at the issue of the capacity of the police station, the ratio to say if a population is this much, is grown to this level, to what extent must then also have, be it a satellite or take the police station to the next level. So on that regard, we have just noted all the concerns raised. I'll pause there, that the DM is here, will guide us on that. Thank you so much.
Engosi ku Mr. Nduli. Sawunikeza la ku Mr. Nhlatiseng, ongu director we-IPID. Engicinga bafuneka ephendulile nyani imibuzo ethe yabuzwa ngabahlali edibene nehlobo abantu abathukulwa ngalo babulawa. U-IPID akathatha nxaxheba kulokozo sinjalo. Mr. Nhlatiseng ungeza ngaphambili usigowele through usiphendulele kwi-questions that have been raised by the community in terms of IPID action on what was reported to them and all other matters that are still outstanding from IPID. Thank you. Mr. Nhlatiseng, ungaza ngaphambili that.
Councillor, I'm a woman. Molweni. Okay. Honorable Minister, Honorable DM of Justice, Honorable DM of Police, Police Management, colleagues from different departments, but most important, abahlali. Sicela uxolisa. Let's first apologize. Where we have erred, we need to rectify that. So ngicela nje sicaleni on a clean slate. We want to come to you in peace. We want to serve you as agents of government. So where we are faltering, please correct us. I am coming from IPID in Zwil and Tetile. We are complaining about IPID. And I'm not going to say my predecessors have done this, have done that. I'm here ukulungisa. We might not have come to you at that particular time in 2018, but definitely we came back. Maybe we came back to individuals, but not as a collective. But now, I'm going to ask, through the permission of my DM, that I come back with my colleagues from IPID in Western Cape, Utatuluhulu, just to check where are the problems in terms of giving you feedback on cases that were reported to us as IPIT and we did not deliver on them. So we're going to arrange a counselor. I don't know where you are. Okay, counselor. Can you arrange for us so that we can look at each and every case that was reported under IPIT so that we can deal with the matter, and where we need to give feedback as to what have we done, we will certainly do that. And secondly, communities. Maybe just to clarify what IPIT is all about. IPIT is an independent police investigative directorate. We are policing the police. What are we doing? One, when a person dies in police custody, you must report to us. When a person is killed by a police officer, you must report to us. When a person or a trigger-happy police officer, in the police cell or outside there, please report. And I see there are active women's organizations who were wearing blue. I see they're gone. But it's important that you work with us and report cases where police officers have done that to communities. But let me also urge you, Civilian Secretariat is also responsible for dealing with cases where a police officer did not do their work. When you report at the police station and a case is not being dealt with, and then suddenly it's closed. I heard the lady saying that good case, iyavalwa wherever. You need to come back to Civilian Secretariat and say, but my case went to court, or a police officer is not thoroughly investigating my case. What is going on? I need to know. Sometimes that happens because an officer has taken a bribe, a docket has been stolen in the police station, or you have seen a police officer with the very same criminals. You are going to report to IPIT. Where there is such suspicion, come back to us. As IPIT, we deal with such cases. Where there are police corruptions, docket has been sold, a docket has disappeared, criminals are working with the police, where police are in cahoots with drug dealers. And every time when you report as whistleblowers, then suddenly that information is filtered to a thug. We're here to serve as IPIT. Any other matter that has been referred to me by our ministers in relation to crime, I am supposed to investigate it. People who are being assaulted, abantu abashawa amapolisa, you must come and report to IPIT. But the question remains, where are we? Are we operating from a tower? Where are we? Now, I came into IPIT in 2020. I then introduced a toll-free number. It's a toll-free number in the true sense of the word, where you are not paying a cent. All you do is to dial. I am going to give you the number. It's 0800 0800 111 969. 0800 111 969. You call at any, at any given time. It's going to reach us. At night, we have standby officers who will answer to your call, who will respond to your calls. But people don't call for SASA at night. Don't talk to us about SASA that night at 12 o'clock. We are willing to help, but at 12 o'clock, let's not talk the grants and other things. But let's talk purely on issues of where there is police brutality. In addition to that, I've got Untitled. He's the head of IPIT in the Western Cape. They are everywhere. At any given time, you call him and tell him that there are challenges in your areas. Police are harassing you. There's police brutality. There's police corruption. The police officers who are torturing you. Women who've been raped by police officers. and people who are dying in police cells. Let me give you his number so that we can show you our commitment to making sure that our communities are safe. His number is 082 896 8483. I repeat, 082 896 8483. If Ntateli Hulu is not responding, I am here. I answer calls at any given time, even at 1 a.m. I wake up to such calls. My number is 063 656 7010. I repeat, 063 656 7010. I will also urge that there are structures that can work with you to make sure that we deal with these challenges. CPFs, if they are not here, Civilian Secretariat must be informed because you do not have community policing forums in your areas. It's important that you also engage in CPF structures. We need community intelligence. And if you are not always here, you know your community better. So at any given time, let's hear complaints from communities. Let's hear complaints from people calling a toll-free number. Let's hear people engaging us in all platforms. I am willing to come from Pretoria to come and talk to communities of Zwelile. It's important that we do that. So I've urged with the councillor, once there is a group of people who are saying we want to see IPID, we've got cases against police officers, we've opened cases against police officers and nothing has been done. Please report to us. But lastly, we were not aware of the case of the late Sisisipo. I would therefore urge the station management to liaise with Ntateli Hulu on that case so that we can take over. Because once there is a police suspect, it's now our responsibility. In fact, it should have been reported to us within 24 hours. So I will urge that it should be handed over to us so that we can investigate communities. Thank you very much.
1, 2. Can you come?
Minister and Deputy Ministers present and protocol observed. How are we going to deal with it now with us and the police? We're quite a long queue, but we're going to make it short. The head office will respond, and the Brigadier Monk Yonker will tell us the status of the cases that were reported here, and the cluster commandant will finish up it. You got all of you 4 minutes. Thank you, then. Can we start with Taras?
Thank you very much, Program Director, the Honorable Minister, the Deputy Minister of Police, as well as Justice, the Executive Director from IPID, Provincial Commissioner, all senior officers, the councillors and committee leaders, all protocol observed. I like this kind of sessions because it creates a platform for the community to engage with us. I want to start by saying that the police are not employed to do you a favor. So it's important that if you are having concerns, you raise them, and you must raise them strongly and don't bow down. Most of the questions will be answered by the Provincial Commissioner because he is here. But I just want to touch on a few things that I picked up. I think the issue of the behavior or friendliness of the police was raised very, very strongly, that the police are not friendly when the members of the community come to the station to report crime. I must say up front that there are members, of course there are few, who embarrasses us. And we are dealing with them very, very decisively. Hence, I wanted to start by stressing that we must always and always report them. Never stop reporting them. At the station, we have a person called a station commander. The station commander is a starting point if you are not happy with anything. And the reason why we keep on stressing this issue of levels is because these people are paid to exactly deal with your challenges. Then above that, we will have the district commissioner, or the cluster commander, as sometimes is called, and then the provincial commissioner. But it's always important for us to make sure that when you are having any issue, you start with the station commander. Because what we want to find out is, if the community are having problems at a particular area, the first thing we want to know is, what did the station do first to deal with that particular matter? Because those people are employed exactly to assist you. If they are not assisting you, then we have a bigger problem to address. There was also an issue that was raised around the certification of documents. Yes, it's important to certify the documents as well as the issue of the mobile police station. We will look at that request from our supply chain environment to see whether they can assist through the provincial commissioner as well, who is here. But one thing I want to say with the certification of documents, that it's not only the police who certify the documents. So you must make sure that you also utilize other avenues that are available as well to certify the documents. I think even the councillors, they certify documents as well. The post office, they certify the documents. So you also have to make sure that you utilize those structures as well to assist. But of course, we look at the issue of the mobile police station and see how we can support the community. There was also someone who raised the issue around the school policing forum. What we have, the community police forum, which is a legislative structure that was established to make sure that they create a link between the police and the community. In fact, most of the issues that are raised here, the community police forum must be aware of those issues, and they must have been discussed and resolved. So we're going to look at whether the community police forum are really working or doing what they are supposed to be doing. Because these issues are supposed to be dealt at a local level and be addressed. There are also a lot of questions or comments around the issues of being closed without being investigated. I think I've touched on that one, but the IPD are here as well. They've also stressed that point. It's important that we report those issues so that they are dealt with. As I said, that the police are not doing you a favor, so you must get the service that you deserve. But we also have a service complaints lines as well that you must report if you are not happy. And then there was a gentleman, well, he looked young. I don't know whether he's actually young, but he looked like a young man, who spoke about the fact that the community need to understand how the law operates. I think in a way he summed up what, for me, that was the most important point that was raised, or among other points, that was very, very important, that we do need to make sure that we educate our communities how the system works. Because the only way that they can influence the way that they work is by giving us the comments that talks directly to the challenge that they have. So it's important that we do that. When we engage the community with the ministry, we get a lot of issues around bail, issues around the investigation of cases. So my suggestion, and something that I will think we'll have to undertake with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, is to formalize this request, is to have a proper program whereby we can educate the community at wide as to how the system really works, covering those critical topics. First one being the bail, as I indicated, the investigation process, how does it work? But more importantly is the evidence one. Because you will find that the members of the community, they will provide a lot of information to the officers at a local level. But that information is not necessarily the evidence, because evidence is something else. But also more importantly is for them to understand how important it is to go to court and testify, because providing information is not enough. So I'm submitting that we look at the formal program as to how we can engage the community beyond today's meeting to make sure that they are empowered in terms of how the system works, but also to explain some of the legislation. We'll work with the Department of Justice. We'll see how we can work on that. That is just my proposal on that one. I want to stress just generic comments to say that we are the protectors of the society. We are mandated by the Constitution to protect the citizens or the residents of this country, and therefore we are not doing a favor by protecting you. We'll always protect you. Sending away people from the station, it's not allowed, as I said. So on that note, I want to encourage you, continue to report cases, and we are there to help you. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, Minister, Deputy Ministers, General Patikile, and all other senior officials. I'm going to touch on three issues relating to the local SAPs. The one issue is with regard to the school safety. We are taking the school safety extremely serious. There was a provincial instruction issued, and it's being done even at Hermanus and the local police stations, that for each shift, 2 visits per school are being conducted whilst on duty during the day, during the night, as well as over weekends, to look at the school safety and the protection that our education facilities are not becoming crime hotspots. So we are monitoring that on a daily basis, 24/7. With regard to the attitude of policemen, and General Mathale have also touched on those issues, we are here to render a service to the communities that we are serving. And if there's anybody in the community, like the IPAD have also indicated, if people are feeling aggrieved and people are not satisfied with their services, please report it to us so that we can intervene as a matter of urgency. Then the third point, and Taron raised those issues, is with regard to the status of the satellite police station in Zwelisle. Now, even before the previous mayor's term was terminated or retired, myself and Taron and other community structures approached the municipality to look at the re-establishment or the rebuilding of the police station. General, at this stage, it is commonly known the site belongs to the municipality. So we wanted to engage with the community to say, the site is still there. How come the municipality can't rebuild the infrastructure? I even engaged that with regard to the personnel allocation. When Hermanus police station was established on the level of a full colonel, when it was allocated with a satellite, additional personnel was allocated in terms of the staff establishment for a satellite. So that people are still here on the strength of Colonel Nosilele. It's just a matter of we now needing to find again ways with the new mayor so that we can speak in terms of when can a police station be erected again. One of the challenges that they told us previously when me and Taron and those community organizations approached them was the matter of they were waiting for payouts of the insurances. So we are still waiting for them just to come back and tell us the status so that we can re-enter and restart those negotiations. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Molweni, Minister, Deputy Ministers, General Patikile. I'm Brigadier Mong Jonker. I'm from the Provincial Office with regards to Crime Investigation Services. I must just give feedback on the cases reported. I can just indicate that with regards to Hermanus case 46 of 9/2020, Juanita Willemse, the suspect is in custody and his case is postponed for High Court from the 15th to the 25th of August 2022. Hermanus case 151 of 8/2020. Deceased Uyusika Butwana. Case is postponed for plea 25 February 2020. And then the Hermanus case 144 of 9/2021, where the lady was beaten to death with a hammer. Deceased Buyuizwa Makwazana. Suspect is also in custody and awaiting, and the court date will be the 24th of February 2020. Then, with regards to the sensitive case, when it comes to Sisipo Moyeli, I can just say that all allegations are currently being followed up and the investigation is monitored. The investigation is in advanced stage on particulars that we can't elaborate, so it's a divulged details that we can't elaborate on at this stage, but the investigation is ongoing, monitored, and all evidence is followed up and sent for analysis with regards to the case. Thank you.
I'll try to be shorter. Thank you very much, Program Directors, to our Minister and President, the Deputy Ministers in the House, the Executive of the IPIT and Secretariat, the Cluster Commander of the Space, Brigadier Elbrand, Provincial Heads that are present, the CPF Chairpersons, Station Commanders, Major General Matonzi officer, and all protocol observed. Mine we've answered many of the questions that we have. Perhaps we just have to look forward. What I didn't say this morning is that today, apart from having a men's indaba in Kailicha, we are also launching a spiritual crime prevention. Pastor, where are they going? We are launching a spiritual crime prevention in the city. So these are the things that are assisting us to come nearer to the gender-based violence, because most of these things are happening at home. The third thing that I want us to look at, I'm coming with the way forward now. We are preaching to the convicted already. So perhaps from now, with what we've done, we will have an action log to look at the issues that we've been highlighted and look at who's responsible to do what with the time frame that we need to. Some of the things are low-hanging fruits. We can do small things, action steps. But I want to say to all of us here, as the young man was saying, I must commend that young man. Our communication is very important. We need to ensure that we all communicate. By the way, we need you more than you need us. We need the community more than you need us. Because if you, as a community, street per street, block per block, you had committees that are assisting. I see the community patrollers, the neighborhood watchers are there. Can we double that, multiply that? And we make sure that where we stay, we have safety. Then you are able to communicate with people that are there, to liaise. And lastly, we've heard many of the things that are here. Station Commander is here. We know now that there are policemen that are located at the satellite station. I'm now going to direct that those policemen, they must be visible in the area. They need to be there in the area. Our provincial head supply chain, I think you must stand up, Brigadier Dutour. Brigadier Dutour is in the meeting. We're looking at whichever way, but assist us. The young people that are on the street, please join the volunteerism at the station. Join the police reservists. Be part of the solution, not be part of the problem. Now I'm going to hand over to the Deputy Minister to sum up, because many of the questions have been answered. If then there is a case, specific case, that you have not been getting any joy out of it, here is my number. It's 082 77 97 238. 082 77 97 238. But I would love you to phone me for something that you have. Please don't call me 2 o'clock and it's a wrong number in the morning, because I won't sleep again. Thank you very much. Over to you, Minister. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Minister Chrissy, Deputy Minister John Jeffries, General Particular and all other officers present here, General Matonsi, Executive Director of IPID, Mr. Ntuli, the Provincial Head of IPID, officers from Correctional Services, personnel from Justice Department that they are present here, the community at large, good afternoon. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here since this morning to share a view with you as guests of Minister Chrissy. Thank you, Minister, for inviting us together with Deputy Minister Jeffries. It's a privilege to come and talk on a platform of fisheries, but dealing with gender-based violence. I think both the Secretariat, IPID, and the police have responded appropriately, including answering the questions that the Minister raised about the 3 murder cases here in terms of where we are, and the last case that the investigations are at a sensitive stage. And I think let's allow police to continue to do their work. We hope and believe that the perpetrators will be brought to book. There is a matter that I think I should talk to, which Mr. Ntuli addressed, and Mr. Theron responded appropriately to that address. I think it will not be correct for us to come here and leave without talking about the conduct by our communities when they are angry. And of course, they have the right to be angry, and they have the right to protest. They have the right to express themselves in whatever manner. But our people we should engage in public programs of awareness to our people about the relationship that they must have with properties that belongs to them. This can be roads, it can be clinic, it can be schools, it can be police station, any form of infrastructure that belongs to the people of South Africa. The way you treat your personal property, that's how you must relate with the property that belongs to the people of South Africa, that belongs to yourselves. Don't take out your anger to the infrastructure that belongs to you, because you will need that infrastructure tomorrow. There are instances where, in my village, I come from Dan village in Tsaning. There was a case involving community members who were arrested, and the community, out of anger, they went to ban a tar road. A tar road can ban because the material that is used there is, if you put fire to it, it can burn. They banned that tar road there. Today, when they drive their vehicles, and this they did 4 or 5 years back, when they drive their vehicles at that spot, they slow down because the road is no longer in the form in which it was before it was banned. It's like today, we have a problem here in Zwelitsha because we banned a police station that we were using because we were angry. Yes, you are justified to be angry, but don't destroy your property. It's like when you, as a person, you have personal problems. You can't destroy what you use. You can't burn your clothes. You can't damage your vehicle. You can't destroy where you sleep. You find a way to manage that anger. We have a responsibility, in line with what one of the speakers said here, that there is a need for public education to educate our people to understand things that they must do and things that they must not do. The solutions to all the problems that we have here, it's in our people having information to know what to do and what not to do. As a community, if we know that it is within our power to fight crime, to defeat gender-based violence, and all we need to do is to be organized ourselves and work very closely with law enforcement agencies. It can be Metro Police, it can be the South African Police, but if we work together as a community, nothing is impossible. We can defeat crime. But if we don't work together, we can't defeat crime. But people need to be, I don't want to say people must be educated. I prefer to say we need intensive public education amongst ourselves to educate each other so that we are aware about the things that we need to do in order to resolve the challenges that we have. And this approach to doing things is not an approach that is created by us today. This is how societies in our country, communities in our country have been resolving problems over the years. That's why you have idioms within our communities that talk to how people must work together. For instance, in the village where I come from, we have a saying that says, meaning that if you want to scoop beans, you can't scoop beans with a finger, but you can scoop beans with your hands, with your full hand. This symbolizes that alone, there's nothing you can do. If you have 2 iron rods, they won't make sound. If you want them to make sound, you must bang them together. They must work together, they will make sound. These are things that our forefathers used to carry about their businesses or to deal with challenges that they faced every day. When President Nelson Mandela said, we must work together to create a better life for all, he was continuing with the old saying by our people that and this is what we are saying here today. That this is why we are saying we are a South African police service at your disposal. But we are a service that can't work without you. There must be collaboration between the two. So it's important that our people must understand these things. And out of this understanding, we will conduct ourselves appropriately. You will know that when you are angry against service delivery or any other matter in society, to resolve that matter, you need to sit, discuss, take decisions, and approach the relevant authorities to deal with those matters. We know that sometimes we don't listen. You talk to us, we don't listen. You call us, we don't come to you. We behave as if you are working for us. We are not your servants. Sometimes we do that. That's why when you go to a police station, a police officer looks the other way. They continue doing whatever they are doing. Even if they see you have arrived, you are at the counter, because of this mentality that thinks that you work for them, not the other way around. We are seated here, we are called VIPs. We are nothing. We are your servants. And with that attitude, we will know that whenever you come for services to us or you raise issues with us, we must listen and respond appropriately. I thought I must talk to this thing of damaging property, because if we don't talk about it, it will be as if we condone it. But this does not mean that when people have made mistake and burned their property, we must remind them about it every day. We must tell them, yes, you did a wrong thing, but there is a problem that they have created. It's like children at home. If they break a glass or a cup, you don't say, use your hands to drink tea. You go and get a cup to replace the cup that they have damaged. So that is the attitude we must take towards this. But I'm not saying tomorrow we are going to replace that police station, because people will say, no, Mathale came here and said we are going to rebuild the police station tomorrow. No, but it must be attended to. The minister has already given us ideas that we must take up with the mayor. We will do so, Minister, to make sure that, I think even General Matonsi did speak to that particular matter. I mustn't talk too much here because we are being led. And I've been given an opportunity which is not always that you are given that responsibility. You know, we are here with the Deputy Minister Jeffries, but he has not been given the opportunity that I have been given. He was made to speak and sit down, but me, I've been given a very important task, and it's an honor, Program Director, for having allowed me to stand here to perform this important task, to present to you an activist who has been part of community struggles for many years. During the dark days of apartheid, she was at the forefront. She is part of the team that made sure that we have this democracy that we are enjoying today. And since 1994 to date, she has been continuing in that journey of serving our people within the provincial legislature in Gauteng until she was reassigned to the National Parliament as a member of Parliament, but also as a member of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress and a member of the National Working Committee of the ANC, and currently the Minister of Fisheries, Environment, I hope I'm putting them correct, Forestry, Fisheries, Forestry, and Environment. Minister Barbara Creasy, may I take this opportunity to invite you as I request all of you to rise as she comes to the podium. Over to you, Minister Creasy.
Deputy Minister Mathale, Deputy Minister Jeffries, leadership of the South African Police Services, representatives of the Department of Justice, all of our councillors and leadership of communities and non-governmental organizations here today, I think I've got a really simple task. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for joining us here today and helping us by giving us a perspective of the different activities that we need to undertake in order to confront this issue. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that some of you have got individual problems. There are help desks at the back where you can take those problems. Those of you who are representing organizations, you can also make contact with the help desks. Because part of the reason we have had this engagement today is because we want to build a closer relationship between the Department of Justice, the South African Police Service, and this community. Because as the Deputy Minister Mathale has said, unless we work together, we're not going to overcome the scourge of gender-based violence. We look forward to working with you as we go forward. I think there's been an important suggestion that we should convene a men's forum here in Zwelihle. And I think that we will be asking the support of the South African Police Services for the convening of that forum. Because I think that we understand that how to be a woman in the 21st century is something that has been spoken about for a long time. For a long time, we have spoken about the fact that women can be in the world, they can be in the home, they can be in relationships, they can look after children, they can earn money. All of those roles can be played by women. But what remains difficult for all of us to understand is how to be a man in the 21st century. When some of the very traditional roles that men used to carry out during my grandfather's time are no longer the roles, the exclusive priority for men. And we know that that frustration that men face in terms of defining their identity can lead to some of the problems that we have been speaking about today. We can't leave this issue. We're very glad to hear that of the 4 murders, 3 perpetrators are in court. But we can't leave this issue, because we do not want to stand here in a year's time and be getting a report of new cases. We have to confront this issue, and we have to continue with the battle. And so it is my suggestion as we close that the next thing we must do in this community is to set up the men's forum, and we look forward to your support and your participation in helping us to do it. There was a suggestion that the Department of Labor should also be called. We have very good relationships with the Department of Labor, and we do a lot of outreach work. And we thank that member of the community who raised the issue that we should focus on the enterprises in town, particularly those in the abalone sector. And we will do that, and we will make that a further future project. We also plead with our councillors, many of whom are present today, to take up this issue of rebuilding of our police station with the Overberg municipality. We do need a police station in Zwelihle. We do need a place where the South African Police Service can be on the ground with our people. And we do ask you to help us, councillors, in this important task. Let me thank you all. Please leave here safely, and we look forward to working with you on this issue in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now the meeting is declared closed. Before you step out, let's give an opportunity our dignitaries to step out first. Then after, the community can move towards that door. You will get something to eat. I thank you. Can we give our dignitaries to move out, please? We may be seated.
Bahlali ningagoduki kunelunch elungisiweyo enzawuthi niyifumane kulamnyango uphange emva bonke bahlali bamuvele pha kulamnyango uphange emva bafumane lunch. Enkosi.